Everyone listen up, but this question is for Texas Republicans. I don't mean like super political people. I mean the average Texan who's like, yeah, I'm conservative. I go to church on Sunday. I have a question for you. Do you know what your party is doing right now? The Republican Party in Texas. Do you know what they're up to? And I'm not talking about all that secession talk. I think that's just, hey, look over here. That's just distraction from what's actually going on. And by actually going on, I mean report of the Permanent 2022 Platform and Resolution Committee posted on texasgop.org. Because this thing should concern you. We'll start light with line item 213, nullify unconstitutional ruling. They believe that Obergefell v. Hodges should be thrown out. That is the court case that made gay marriage in America possible. They want that gone. No more gay marriage. They also want the definition of marriage to be made as a God-ordained and only between a biological man and a biological woman. And I'm sure at church on Sunday you're like, yeah, the Bible says, okay, but two men and two women being married doesn't affect your life. It does nothing to you or your marriage or your family, and I think most of you don't actually care about that. But then there's line item 244, voting rights, which is looking to repeal the Voting Rights Act of 1965. You know, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, that landmark decision that is a huge part of the civil rights movement, wherein federal laws say you can't prohibit someone from voting or discriminate against them voting based on race. They want that gone. It being gone means you could discriminate or prohibit someone from voting based on their race. And if we bounce back up to line item 29, they believe that the Equal Rights Amendment was not valid after March 22nd, 1979. So if it's not valid, it shouldn't be acknowledged or enforced. You know, that amendment that said that men and women were equal, that you couldn't discriminate against someone based on their sex. They were equal in divorce and property and employment, without which men would be greater than women. And while Loving v. Virginia, the ruling that made interracial marriage wasn't listed there, I think that's just an oversight. Because from everything I see there, Texas Republicans want to go back to 2 water fountains. You might think that's an exaggeration, but your party's being taken over by extremists. And if you don't do something about it, that's exactly where you're headed.